Here are 10 reasons Bitcoin is better to have than a bank account. Learn these and you'll experience freedom like you've never had before. These benefits from Bitcoin aren't talked about enough, but they can improve your life or your business. If you've not yet held your own Bitcoin keys, then this video is for you. And those of you who say, oh, but I own Bitcoin on Coinbase or Venmo, well, that's not actual Bitcoin ownership, which means you're not getting all of these benefits that Bitcoin has to offer. Watch this video to the end, and if you have any questions, I'll finish with some suggestions on how I can help you get your questions answered. Hi, I'm Pasco the Pleb from Bitcoin-Minded, where we build online Bitcoin courses to help people and businesses learn to use Bitcoin properly. Let's get into it. Here are 10 reasons why Bitcoin is better than a bank account. Number 1. Hours of operation. Bitcoin is always open. In fact, for more than a decade now, Bitcoin has maintained 100% uptime. Can your bank say that? Literally 365 days a year. There's no holidays, there's no business hours for Bitcoin. It is always available for you to spend, receive, and check or verify balances, and they'll be up to date. I mean, think about how many times in your whole life, maybe you don't even notice this anymore because it's become normal to us, but how many times in your life, perhaps on a Sunday morning or late on a Saturday night, could there have been an emergency or some need to have access to all of your money in the bank or be able to transfer something or troubleshoot a problem? You can't do that with banks. You got to wait for business hours. Bitcoin wins that one. Number 2, privacy. Using Bitcoin can be done in a more private way than using a bank account. Think about it. When you have a bank account, anytime you interact with that bank account, you have to speak to a teller or you have to make a phone call. There's no way to do that in a private way. When you go into the bank, the person that you don't know their history, you don't know what kind of a person they are, they know your name, your address, how much money you have in the account. They probably can watch you walk out the door and see what car you drive. That is not private. Additionally, we always have to have an online profile, right? And so when we have an online profile, when you log into your bank, well, you have to give them more information. And that data, that private information about you is stored on their computer. We have to hope that that data stays private and is not hacked or breached. The cool thing about Bitcoin, the private thing about Bitcoin, is to use it, to send it, to spend it, to save it, to verify it. Nobody has to ask you any questions. You can do it on your own. You can decide what you want to give people as far as information. You can decide if you want to tell somebody your name or how much money you have. You can decide all these things. You do not have to put all that information out there when you use Bitcoin. Number 3, trust. And when I say trust here, I don't mean the good feeling kind of trust that you have with close friends and family members where there's a nice bond. No. I'm talking about in trust with the banking system. It's the kind of trust where, hey, you don't have a choice. Trust me, you have to do this. When you interact with a bank and a bank account, you have to trust people. You have to trust the tellers. You have to trust the managers. You have to trust the website is secure. You have to trust that the fine print doesn't include anything that's not good for you. With Bitcoin, there's no worry about that. There's no trust needed. You can use Bitcoin without having to rely on or trust anybody else in the world. And when you get used to that feeling, when you interact with your own money in that sort of way where you no longer have to just hope something's going to get done, you no longer have to just hope the transaction will happen or hope that you'll have access when you need the money, that is a good feeling. These days, when somebody feels that what you're doing is not appropriate or good, they can actually block your account. They can freeze your account. They can stop you from accessing your money. Well, with the Bitcoin, there's none of that trust is needed. You have access because it is a trustless system. This is a good thing and empowers you. Number 4, fair rules. So what do I mean by fair rules? Well, with Bitcoin, there's no permission or authorization needed to use it. There's no person judging you, deciding if your reason for using your money is allowable. There's no risk of it being blocked. There's no risk of it being blocked for some people, but not for other people. There are no limits or thresholds to how much of your money you can access on a given day or a given week. When we look at the traditional banking system, it's not often that you can go in and pull all of your money out of the bank if it's anything substantial. They're going to say, oh, we don't have that with us right now, or we're going to have to run it by our some other department in the back and make sure it's authorized. Or let's say you use an app. They're going to say, you know what? You've already reached your weekly spending limit. You can't send more than this amount for now. These are not fair rules for your money. But with Bitcoin, none of these exist. They are fair for everyone. If you hold your keys, if it's your Bitcoin, if you control it, well, it operates perfectly for you. You can send it, spend it, receive it, you can save it, and it's the same for everyone. There's no opinion, there's no person that can decide if your usage is worthwhile or not. Number 5, convenience. Wow, Bitcoin is way more convenient than banks when you get used to using it. Who wants to drive to banks anymore? Who wants to walk in and talk to the teller and fill out a little piece of paper? Nobody wants to do that. Well, you might say, yo, Pasco, I just use an app for that. Sure, but does the app always work? Does it always reflect the balance perfectly? Have you ever had to get on the phone with a bank? I mean, who wants to call customer service and talk to them for multiple minutes? You don't have a lot of time in the day to deal with that. Talking to robots and different tellers and giving your information to every single representative of a robot and then being passed around to different departments, all hoping that the phone does not disconnect. That's not convenient. That is so old school. It's incredible that people even deal with that still. Who wants to deal with not being shown balances that are up to date? They're not updated quickly online or they're not accurate. Sometimes things take days to post. That's crazy. It's 2025 as I'm shooting this video, and people still deal with that with their bank accounts. There's confusion caused by that, there's inconvenience caused by that. I mean, with Bitcoin, it can be used instantly with your phone. It's reliable and the balance is always up to date. There's no possible way that the balance could be wrong when you use Bitcoin properly. That's convenient. Number 6, 100% control. Bitcoin is the only money, it's the best money in existence where you can spend it when you want, save it when you want, and transact or move it over any distance without ever needing somebody else's help to do so. There is no other money that's like that right now. There's no other sound money that is like that right now. Okay, we could say cash is close, right? Cash is pretty close. You can have cash in your home and you can walk next door and pay your neighbor, and it's 100% in your control. You can hand it to them, nobody can block you. But as soon as you try to move cash beyond a short distance, good luck. It's not happening. As soon as you want to move it any greater distance, you need to have help with somebody else. And then you give control to them, to the mailman or to the bank or to the central bank. Are they going to wire your money for you? But Bitcoin gives you 100% control. If you want to send it anywhere in the world, you can. If you want to show up in some other country and then have access to it, you can. 100% control to you, and nobody can take that from you. Number 7, it's international. I mean, how cool is this? We've gotten so used to thinking that it's normal and it has to be the case that we go to different countries when we have to exchange money in and out and we pay a fee and there's some spread and we got to think of where we're going to exchange money. Do we do it at the airport or do we do it with our bank before we go? What a pain in the butt. With Bitcoin, there's none of that. You just simply spend it anywhere that accepts it without moving in and out of other things. When you want to go to another country and you land, your Bitcoin is Bitcoin. And they accept the same Bitcoin because it's just Bitcoin. There's no need to go in and out of different currencies. The convenience of that's going to be outrageously great for everyone that starts to use Bitcoin. Another cool thing about the international piece is you don't need to tell your bank that you're going to be out of the country and give them a warning about your behavior to prevent them from shutting down your debit card or credit card or freezing your account because they suspect something funny is going on. With Bitcoin, none of that's needed. It's in your control. It's convenient. It's international. It's going to just work for you. It's awesome. Number 8, using Bitcoin is cheaper than using your bank account. Think about this. If you hold Bitcoin properly, you can do it in a way that it doesn't cost anything to hold and secure it. There's no service fees, there's no ongoing fees, there's no bounce check fees. And think about merchant processing costs, how much lower they can be if we use Bitcoin. Right now, every business taking a Visa or MasterCard payment, they're paying 3 or 4%, right? When it's all said and done. Well, guess who's really paying that? You are paying it. Of course, you the customer. It's being passed on to you. So if we lower transaction costs by using Bitcoin, then your products and services go down in cost too. So if done properly, using Bitcoin is a lot cheaper than using a bank account. Number 9, it's more secure. Oh, this might surprise some of you. Yes, using Bitcoin is more secure than a bank account. All right. You've probably heard of it being hacked and this and that. That's not Bitcoin being hacked. Actually, Bitcoin has not ever been hacked. What you hear of being hacked is somebody lost their keys or somebody left their money, their Bitcoin on an exchange, and that company's their server got hacked. But the Bitcoin network has never been hacked. Okay. The cool thing too with it being more secure is you don't have to share information like we do with banks. We have to give them all of our information and trust that they will keep it safe. We have to spread our information across the internet and hope it'll be staying safe on somebody else's server. With Bitcoin, there's none of that. No information needs to be shared to have Bitcoin. And there's no scammer, there's no bank, there's no government, there's no military. Nobody can move your Bitcoin, spend your Bitcoin without your keys. That's that's incredibly secure. I mean, think about it. No, you seriously, no military, no matter of might, no amount of might can move your Bitcoin without your keys. That is the epitome of security. And number 10, this is more of a feel good one, but using Bitcoin instead of using a bank account, it shapes the future that you want. If we want a future that moves in the direction, our society moves in the direction of having more freedom and prosperity rather than people entering serfdom and slavery. We see it right now. We see a lot of people, it's getting harder and harder to keep up with the costs rising and own a home. I mean, people are just dropping off left and right and having to need support from different programs. Unfortunately, it's probably by design, but if you want to have a future, if we want to have a society in the future that provides freedom and prosperity for everyone, then we need to choose and actively use the things that will get us there. And Bitcoin is one of those things. If you prefer our future to include more freedom and prosperity, then we'll need to take action to build that future. The act of using Bitcoin is a step we can take towards building that future. All right, those are my 10 favorite reasons why owning Bitcoin is better than having a bank account. Which of those resonates for you? Which of those have you felt that would really help you out? Tell me in the comments below. I pay attention to those comments because your feedback is what allows me to learn how I can provide more valuable information to you and become a better teacher at Bitcoin Minded. And if you have any specific questions about this video or Bitcoin and how to use it properly, we'll use the link in the description to put your name on the Bitcoin Minded course waitlist. Doing so doesn't mean you're committing to a course with us, but it does open a channel between us that will allow you to ask your questions and get more information. If you don't have any questions but think this video would be helpful for a friend, please share it. Our goal is to help as many people as we can. So you sharing this video is greatly appreciated. Remember, Bitcoin is for anybody who chooses to learn to use it. Bye bye for now.